Then right here, right now, at the Daytona International Speedway. Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where the OMSRL Xfinity Series finally makes its return. My name is Olabample alongside Dylan Coyle. We'll be bringing you all the coverage here tonight from the Joe Pesci 160 from the World Center of Racing. Dylan, it's been a long time coming. We have been waiting a while for this one, a few months throughout the course of May and June, but finally in July, we get set to return, and it'll be a big question whether Michael Kenner can put up a good title defense in the opener.
Yes, sir. It's good to be back for the Joe Pesci 160. I'm not going to let the viewers know how you thought it was pronounced. Kind of would have sounded similar to your pronunciation of the league name, but hey, I digress.
Oh boy, well it hasn't even been 5 minutes, and we've already started the trash talking up at the broadcast booth. It wouldn't be Green Flag TV with Dylan without it, though, would it?
It wouldn't be. We need to bring the red flag out sometimes, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is going to be a fun race, 64 laps at night. That's what I really love. You know, the cooler temperatures, not really going to mean much in terms of grip for Daytona. the speeds, I should say. But at the very end, it's going to give us some nice views. We got a big field of cars, probably the biggest field I've ever seen in an OMSRL. Oh, I did it again. The OMSRL. Okay, we both got it in now.
See, that's what happens when you try to trash talk me like that, my friend.
That is exactly what I deserve. That's what I got. 30 cars in the field. What a grid we've got.
It is quite a grid indeed that we've got here at the Daytona International Speedway. We will take a quick rundown, of course, of what the schedule is going to look like before we get to our qualifying coverage. Of course, we kick it off here at Daytona. Then we swing to Michigan, Iowa, Las Vegas for the first 4 of the season. We slow it down to the Dover Speedway. And then, of course, to Watkins Glen International, the Milwaukee Mile making its first ever appearance in OMSRL competition. We'll swing back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, then to the Nashville Fairgrounds, also making its first appearance. We go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval, our last race of the regular season, way over on September 19th, going to be at Darlington. Then, of course, you have the Chase. We kick it off at Talladega. Then the Legacy Texas Motor Speedway. That's going to please a lot of people, I know. Then we finish it out with Bristol, Kansas, and Auto Club, knocking Homestead Miami Speedway out as the championship race. I have to be honest, though, I'm not even so mad that Auto Club's replacing Homestead. It's a good replacement, I feel.
Auto Club is great. Homestead is great as well. So I'd like to see both tracks on the schedule. But hey, it's not necessarily a bad replacement. It's a shame that Auto Club Speedway, as we know it in the real world, is no longer a thing at all. As we see the number 8 machine of Ryan Dingler out there on the circuit right now, and gotta say, we still have around 1 minute and 23 seconds left in qualifying. Only half the field has set down a lap time so far. We're going to start to see the last of the initial laps set right now. But usually when you're at Daytona, all the speed is generated on lap 2 of qualifying. I don't think we're going to see the fastest times for the first lap. They like to go up high on the first lap of qualifying against the wall to take the longest way around to gain the most speed. And then they like to stay down to the yellow line. So excited to see what happens here. Obviously, we are watching the 84 machine right now of John Crabtree, one of the newcomers to the series.
One of several newcomers to the series, in fact, looking to make his first season debut along with Corey Paya, Josh Cole, and, of course, several others that we'll get to over the course of the afternoon. He had his first lap invalidated. He'll cross the line this time by. It'll only be good enough, though, for 23rd on the board. So not the start that Crabtree was hoping to have. That tells me he scraped the wall running that outside line in his first attempt. And unfortunately for him as well, that's going to be all the time he is going to be having in his qualifying effort, as well as that checkered flag going to be flying here in very, very short order. Out of the 29, 30 cars so that were set to make qualifying efforts, only 23 have managed to set time. So with that all said and done, we're ready to go racing for 64 laps of race night. We're going to run down with the start grid. John Pesci, 160. On both stations, it is going to be Mario Lapinta. Spending away for all of the thousands of second off. Both the Gilman team back to the turn on cycle. Oscar Top.
And continue going down is Zach Kreiser from my Purcell.
First 8 rows going to be complete. We roll things on down to row number 9 with Jacob Noyes and Mark Brannigan Jr. down to 17th and 18th. Daniel Half, one of the OMSRL rookies coming into today, going to be a 19th with Hunter Thrower down in the top 20. Robert Peterson will make up 21st with Jason Layton, another rookie, in 22nd. John Crabtree, the last car to put down a qualifying lap, down to 23rd with Matt Rucci in 24th. Kyle Green 25th with Michael Kenner at 26th. Kobe Wells, Sean Kaiser, Josh Cole, and Corey Paya round out a nice, even 30-car field. I love it when a field is just a nice round number like that, especially if it ends on a 0. One of the most satisfying things, I think, when you're running through a starting grid. We're just waiting on one driver, and that is the likes of Anthony Bussati. Sorry, make that Baron Morton to grid on up, and we'll get this race underway.
I always love the anticipation of a season opener at Daytona International Speedway, especially when it's under the lights. Everybody knows that this track is one of the crown jewels in all of oval stock car racing. So lots of fun, lots of things about to happen here. And stage 25 or stage 1 ends at lap 25, so we'll award points to the top 10 runners. And here's the interesting thing. It will be awarded right when they cross the line. Like, usually we've awarded it when the caution, and I say we, the series has awarded it when the caution comes out right at the stage or anything like that. It's the last results that we're going past the line there. So it makes it a lot easier for us if we want to calculate anything.
Going to make it a fun race and no doubt an interesting one indeed, as it's going to be all about the strategy game here. This one, whether drivers will want to come on down before the stage break ends or if they want to set themselves right up for that run at lap number 25. We work our way down the back straightaway for the one and only time where we take things to the green flag, and it is one of the closest qualifying fields we'll have all season long, with, I believe it was a top 10 being separated by just 2/100ths of a second. And LaPinta leading the way up in front. But the big question is, how long will he be able to stay out in front? Most noteworthy as well here, Dylan, Teams Championship, no more. So there's not so much of a benefit now to be working with your teammates to get yourself up in front, because there's no team's title you're contending for.
Yeah, and honestly, it makes it a little bit more fun for us, because I don't think drivers are necessarily going to worry as much about working together to do anything for like owners' points or team championships. It's all mano a mano, maybe with some affiliations here. It's going to be interesting. We don't see manufacturers working together usually in iRacing races at super speedways. Will that be the same way here? Pace cars in.
Pace cars in. We work our way to the Geico Restart Zone. The OMSRL Xfinity Series is back on Green Flag TV. So we work our way through lap number 1. Spencer Ray will now lead the way, picks it up from Mario Lapinta, and we hightail it through the high banks. Daytona International Speedway through turns 1 and 2. Lapinta falls to second, and we're single file all the way back until number 7.
Yeah, number 7 on the outside line, trying to get that run situated on that outside line. Very different type of super speedway racing than we see at tracks like Atlanta Motor Speedway. Atlanta, the run comes out of nowhere. The speeds are around 15 miles per hour different from cup car to cup car at, you know, the end of the straightaway versus the beginning of the straightaway at Daytona. In the Xfinity Series car, you're not going to hit those same speeds. So maybe the runs will come a little bit quicker, but it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end here. Whereas in Atlanta, it just happens. So you should be able to anticipate when moves are happening, and the drivers that can do that best will be able to move quickly through the field.
Mario Lapinta's jumped back up to the top shelf. He's going to be pushed by, it looks like, Brandon Huggins down the back straightaway. Anthony Bussati dipping below the apron, wanted to fade to the back of the field, not wanting to get too caught up in all the fray early on. Pinto clears back for the lead. Rookie Parent Huggins already up 4, looking to see if he can't make a charge of the race lead with Colton Hopkins pushing behind.
Around everyone is in this primary pack. A little bit of a breakaway in 8 cars deep. Not really saying much, though, about where these cars are going to place themselves. So far, so good. We're 4 laps in. I mean, this is going to be a one-stop race right in the middle, right around lap 32 if they make it that far, because that is the edge of the fuel window. We could, Nolan, we could see some strategy play out. If anyone wants to pit directly after the stage ends, it might be hard for them to make it to the end without caution. So we'll have to see exactly what happens. There's a car in the back losing steam, and no idea what Purcell was doing right there. Just got on the apron and almost completely lost it on his own.
Get another look at this one here. This is coming off of turn number 2. He pulled down to the inside, I think, trying to get up and out of the fray that the leaders were throwing up here, not wanting to spend too much time hanging around. And they think, oh, he clipped the grass. That's what caused him to kind of get off unsettled. Did a good job to hang on to it, though, but like you mentioned, then clips the apron. They fell all the way back from there, so big struggles for the 420 machine. He'll manage to get himself back sorted, though, and we'll work our way back up to the race leaders here in this one. As we continue to work our way around the Daytona International Speedway.
Right now, the strategy should be exactly what we're seeing right now, just high-speed pace laps. Nothing too ambitious, as there's a car that goes into the apron over the grass, saves it. No idea what happened there.
There's a couple of cars you mentioned having to kind of scramble it coming off of turn numbers 1 and 2 at that time by, and it gets dicey quickly when you get to a track like the Daytona International Speedways. We'll take number 2 with this one on trying to get our replay system back figured out here. This is, yeah, right there. You saw Grant Peterson having a moment. This is coming off of the tri-oval here on lap number 6. It was contact with defending champion Michael Kenner, sending Peterson way down to the inside line.
Yeah, what a save right there to get it back on track as well and get right
trouble,
back in the
big crash.
This is going to take out a ton of competitors.
Huge collision into the outside wall when pole sitter Mario Lapinto, the caution is out on lap number 7. Matt Rucci going to be one of the main drivers to fall to the back of the pack in what he is running a part-time season. Remember, the Tracker Boats machine. This is not a good start for him. Spencer Ray will be your race leader at the time of yellow flag number 1, but a hefty whack to the outside wall for Lapinto Moore.
Spencer Ray and getting into the lead after a big one at the Super Speedway is kind of come to expect that now.
I remember he had that wild finish down at the Talladega Super Speedway that saw him kind of throw everything up into the works. We'll see if he can't figure out what went down to start this one off. I know Mario Lapinto was kind of right in the middle of this one. We'll take a look. This is coming off the tri-oval. Oh, contact with rookie Huggins, sends 13 into the wall, and it's a stack up from there.
Wow. Wild. That's a big wreck right there. Love seeing some of these schemes. Don't love seeing some of these schemes destroyed so early on. I think, yeah, it looks like right down the inside line, the 5 kind of gets into who was the pole sitter right there. Grant Peterson, I mean, that's rough to blame on anybody, but Peterson definitely came down. Or, not Grant Peterson, excuse me. Numbers are a little wonky on my screen, but
it's part of the hazards of having some rookies in the field, some of them not having the proper numbers listed on their machines. But, of course, all of that will be figured out, hopefully, by the time week 2 rolls around. It's almost a secondary incident out there where the 45 got into the outside wall, and it stacked up a lot of other drivers that were just trying to kind of avoid this whole mess. But otherwise, Looking to be a big run of drivers coming to pit road. Matt Cherry with a lot of damage will lead the way down. Comes in Perrin Huggins, Kreischer, Peterson, Brannigan, Kenner, and more. All into pit road for service on lap number 9.
Yeah, and some cars as the lead car right there coming down pit road is a little bit worse for wear, but you got to also imagine, like, these drivers coming down to the pits, if it's not, one of the cars that took a lot of damage, it doesn't necessarily make sense to go into the pits right now because you're still going to have to come down later on. There still is a lot of mileage left in this race. You're not going to make it on fuel. So why would you come down?
Yeah, no kidding. It's a tough situation. I think a lot of these drivers, remember, with the fuel tank limitations, might be looking to set themselves up for that not the halfway point, the stage break coming up at lap number 25. As there were a few cars that did come down to pit road, but it ended up not quite going their way. As Josh Cole, Corey Vaya, Michael Kenner, and Jacob Noyes all came down to pit road, and they all missed their box as well, or at least Cole and Kenner did. I don't think Noyes and Paya actually fully committed to pit road, but they got close enough that they triggered the pit lane timer on our overlays here. But Michael Kenner and Josh Cole coming down, missing their pit boxes. If they have to come down again now, that's going to send them way to the tail of the field.
Yeah, but again, it is a super speedway, right? It's all about how strong you are. I mean, the strongest drivers are always going to rise to the top no matter what, especially when it's not the biggest field of cars. It's a really substantial field of cars, but it's also, you're not 40 cars deep, right? So you could make your way theoretically through 15 cars in a single line if it's inside, outside as well. And it's going to probably be less than that overall that are competitive because a lot of cars have damage. So, it's not going to be impossible to make your way up through the field. But what will be so important is getting some points here throughout the first and only stage that pays points as stage points. Of course, hey, the maximum amount of points you get is if you finish first. If you're the leader at lap 25 and the leader at lap 64, you win the race. There's a little extra wrinkle into the stages here. We're not going for any cautions. As you see, Corey Paya up 26 positions. Pretty amazing right there. But yeah, we're not throwing a caution for the stage break, which I love.
It really is awesome to see that there are so many drivers here that are getting themselves, sorted on some good strategy runs with this. And I again, like you mentioned before, we talked about this before as well, I can't wait to see how this is going to shake up when we get about 15 laps further into this race. That's where it's really going to all, kick off. We're going to be having ourselves with the absolute barn burner strategies, and I think we're going to be seeing some very unorthodox strategies coming on in. This is the first time, remember, that they have tried to implement stages in this manner, and it could very well prove to be difficult at a plate track when you have a lot of different drivers trying to figure out their strategies all at once. Who do you reckon would be one of those drivers that might be looking to take a bit of a risky play?
I could see some of the drivers who have quickly made their way through the field to continue making some big strides to get to the front of the pack. Grant Peterson has had an up and down race so far. I know I mentioned him earlier, but he was way back in the field and has made his way back up through the order. I could see him trying to make some moves, but also you're going to have situations like John Crabtree wanting to get back going.
Green flag is back in the air. We're underway once again from the Joe Pesci 160 of the Daytona International Speedway. Spencer Ray hightails it off and away, and already a big chunk of the outside line jumping down to the bottom, leaving Corey Paya to pick up the slack way back now in the 8th position and dropping like a stone. Nobody willing to work with the rookie in the number 37.
Yeah, no one willing to work with mostly anyone on the outside line. We do see some movement from the inside line to the outside line. Not sure if it's going to work, but the 83 of Hunter Thrower will be not first in line anymore, as there's some more help with Zachary Kreiser, the PA driver, getting the push. But it's only those two right now on the top lane trying to make it work here. Maybe they'll get some help from the accordion effect, but they're a little bit too disconjointed to be able to make some moves here. They're still going through the field, though.
Zachary Kreiser, of course, running under the Burnt Bacon Racing colors along with Nathan Shiflett. That's why their paint teams looking so identical to one another. And now Thrower pushing Kreiser to the front of this field as Spencer Ray trying to get some assistance from Holden McGill, running down on the bottom side of the HMG Motorsports Toyota Supra. And side by side, not quite for the race lead down the back straightaway. Spencer Ray still holds it, but you can see on the deltas, that 19 closing in fast.
That car on the outside just absolutely flying, surprising me that even with 3 cars in tow, it can still move as fast as the inside line. Look at that Rainbow Warrior Exalta scheme in tow, second on the outside. Now they've got some help. Look at that. The 5 machine. Oh, yellow crashing the back. The 420 is involved. The 23 and a couple more cars.
Josh Cole, Jason Layton, 2 more rookies involved. Robert Peterson has lost his front clip as well. Anthony Musatti seems to have escaped unharmed. Zach Kreiser will take up the race lead as we hit yellow flag number 2 from the Daytona International Speedway on a big crash coming off the tri-oval. That's our second big wreck. At least this one happened a bit further towards the tail end of the field. Get a look at this one here. Purcell on the bottom. Oh, just clips the 23, and it's on from there. And a huge hit to the outside wall for Purcell. And from there, you see a lot of drivers. Robert Peterson took a hefty shot to that inside barrier.
Yeah, those are some massive hits right now. I think we're going to get another replay of what exactly happened in the back. And, oh, that's a huge hit. Almost made it through. And then it just did not apply the brakes at all.
Right into the K-rails that separate the oval from the 24-hour endurance circuit here in the infield of the Daytona International Speedway. Not going road course racing today. You got to wait for the Glen for that one. We've left the oval hybrids behind, as remember when the Indianapolis Motor Speedway got its date kicked off in favor of the run around the Brickyard's famous oval instead. So now we get our second chance for some interesting strategy calls here. Kreiser pit under this last caution. I'd be looking to the likes of Spencer Ray, McGill, Dingler, Noyes to potentially make a run down, and Corey Paya as well to come on down and maybe top of the field and get themselves on to cycle with the rest of these guys. But I'm not quite certain. I mean, with how the stages are laid out, the strategy is so up in the air right now. It's almost impossible to make an accurate prediction on what's going to go down.
Yeah, it is going to be really tough to understand, but everyone still would need to make another stop, even if they came down right now. So that's the thing, right? Like, this is a race where under green flag conditions, it's pretty much 2 full tanks of fuel. So there's little leeway in terms of pitting early and not having to pit again. The window is a lot smaller in this race because you need to go to the very end of your fuel run on the first stint to make it on a full tank on the second stint. So these yellows obviously will help in terms of fuel mileage and maybe open up a few more strategies, but still, everyone still needs to make it from this point on. They still need to make another stop.
A lot of drivers only stopping for fuel. There's a couple of drivers getting tires fixed, a few more that are looking to get some damages repaired. That includes Purcell, Half, Peterson, and more still down and sitting down in pit road as things stand. On lap number 15, we'll have 10 laps to go this time by in stage number 1 of the evening. And I think to say this race has already kicked the season off into high gear is an understatement. This is it reminds me a lot about how season 4 went. I know you weren't on board for our first season, or the first OMSRL season fully on Green Flag TV. This was way back in January of this year. It was actually remarkably clean throughout the first stage or so. And it all kicked off with about 20 laps to go. From there, we didn't go more than 5 laps without a wreck. We had, I think, 3 massive pileups off of turn number 2, at least 2 of them, where we had cars getting stuck into the wall. I know Dingler ended up on his roof on the final lap. So it went from being about a 20-car fight for the win on the green-white checker finish down to 4 cars by the time we got off of turn number 4.
Yeah, and that can always be a little bit of fun, seeing an incident like that. You know what I really love about what iRacing has implemented in recent updates of the sim? Cautions on super speedways have been shortened.
Yes.
Yeah, so it makes this not as painful the time that we are not running in green flag conditions. So you see the lights off on the pace car. We will go back to green flag racing next lap. And they're going to be fighting fervently for stage points. There's going to be 9 to go in the stage by the time it ends. So let me ask you this. Is it the completion of lap 25 or once we get on lap 25?
Completion of lap 25.
Gotcha. Okay. That'll be fun. I'm excited to see what these how these drivers race to that point.
I think that's why we saw a good chunk of drivers not opt to pit on that last pit cycle. They are well aware that there's a high chance we'll get one more yellow flag before we get to that lap 25 mark. So they want to make sure that they're in a good position if there is a caution to come away with some good stage points when they might not be able to race each other for. We mentioned at the top it is no matter what. So if we cross that lap 25 while under the caution flag, so be it. So there's no early stage endings now if there's yellow flag disables like we had last season, where it was roughly 3 to 5 laps from the end of the stage, kind of depending on what track it was on. It was, I think, 5 for the shorter tracks, 3 for the plate tracks, the road courses, so on and so forth. I'm still excited. I think this is still going to shake up to be possibly one of the more thrilling races we'll have on the season. I think so far we've definitely achieved that.
Yeah, we have definitely achieved it. Love how many drivers are in this field right now. Only 2 drivers are not still on track. They're in the pits right now. They'll probably come out relatively shortly, but we're about to go green flag racing again on lap 17. Completion of lap 25 is the end of the first stage. Points will be awarded. Caution will not fly.
Pace car going to pull down into pit road once more. Zachary Kreischer up 10 spots on the day will take the race lead into the Geico restart zone. We're back underway in the Joe Pesci 160 here for the Daytona International Speedway. We hightail it down towards turn numbers 1 and 2.
Looks like Spencer Ray is experimenting with just pinching the man down underneath him ever so slightly. Look at Hunter Thrower trying to throw it to the outside and make it 3 wide. Not even up to full speed right there. That would have been an interesting move, but hey, it's go time almost for those stage points.
9 laps, make that 8.5 laps now left to go. Spencer Ray has pulled for the race lead up in front, but he's going to get a bit unsettled entering turn numbers 3 and 4. So that'll leave it to Kreischer to take that spot back. Cole still sitting on pit road. Josh Cole may very well become our first retirement we have on the afternoon, but sitting in pit road for over 5 minutes now. Jason Layden back on the racetrack as well. He is 2 down with 8 to go.
Everybody in this lead group of cars, really the only group of cars, can get stage points from this race. And we're seeing fast-paced pace laps all the way back to actually 17th position.
Bit of shuffling going on deeper in the pack, but up front it is very, very civilized as it stands, not like the insanity that we saw earlier on in this race. It just got 2 lines just trying to mind their own business for now, mind the P's and Q's, except, I believe, for Nathan Schiflin. Look a bit deeper in the pack. He started to back him up. He's set himself up for a big run, and now he's got that foot to the floor. He's catching Grant Peterson.
This is some good fun right now, but who pulls out of line first to try and make the moves? Here's another interesting point, Nolan. It's going to get pretty intense right here for stage points, and because there's not going to be a caution to reset them, do they tone it down immediately after that in terms of the aggression?
I'd expect so. There's no more reason then after the stage break for you to try to go as aggressively as you are right now until you get to about 10 laps to go. So I would hope that they would tone it down a little bit. You don't need to run every lap like it's the last one after all.
Are you sure? Everyone wants to have it be the last lap on the next lap.
I was going to say, it is OMSRL. They don't exactly – they got 2 settings, off and high. And off only comes when they're under caution. Sometimes. There was some shenanigans under the yellow flags last season as well.
Naturally, we always have the shenanigans happening all at once. But there's just 6 laps to go until we award those stage points. Still double file all the way back through the field. I mean, we are 2 by 2 back to 24th.
On board with Michael Kenner, your defending champion of the Beechwood, New Jersey. See if he can't get up to Hunter Thrower and get some more speed with himself. And Spencer Ray was 6th spot at the top of the lap and is currently trying to fight that outside lane for himself. It's been an intense run for so many of these guys involved, and they're doing a great job right now. I'll keep things steady. We're 3 wide in the background, right around where Marucci is. They're going to get themselves doubled out, but there's, I think, the first hints that we're only just getting this race underway now.
Yeah, just getting this race underway for sure. Hunter Thrower saying he got unstable. Kyle Green into the wall of the 18. We might stay green because he didn't turn around fully. Yes, we're staying green.
Marucci also involved with the number 88 car on a huge wreck coming off, or not a huge wreck, but a hard wreck coming off of turn number 2. We'll get a look back and we'll see if he can't pick up the pieces, see what went down. This is crossing over onto lap number 22 with 4 laps left to go in the opening stage. Eventually it was with Hunter Thrower.
Yeah.
Oh, was Rucci.
Yeah, 18 just comes up, doesn't realize that the 88 is going up high, and can't really blame the 88. He was outside for just long enough for the 18 to realize he was there. Maybe a bit of hesitation led to that. We're still staying green. Lap 22.
4 laps, left to go here in this first run of the OMSRL Xfinity Series. We're setting ourselves up for our first bout of stage points to be awarded unto us this fine Tuesday night. Spencer Ray has pulled clear. Will he jump to the bottom? He will! He will not remain loyal to Hunter Thrower.
Loyalties all thrown out the window when points are to be awarded. You'll be loyal for 90% of the race, but if you can get that top spot, you get more points in that first race. It's only going to help if you ever fall out of favor at future races. Lots of weaving and bobbing going on, especially up front. Spencer Ray got very loose. Hunter Thrower throws it to the bottom. He leads the inside line, but has to get sucked back in by Spencer Ray to give him a push. The outside line is fast. The 19 goes up high. The 21 switches down low, and the top 2 switch down low. It's chaos.
Michael Kenner, defending champion, now leading the way down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. 2 laps to go in stage number 1. This time by at the line, and no driver willing to work with another, save for maybe the Burnt Bacon Racing teammates working together up on the top shelf. Kenner goes up to block, and the high point Mustang jumps right back down to the bottom of the 25 Supra. We're wrecking into the infield.
Not yet.
We're going around. We're going to keep it together, maybe just as we fire our way back down to turn number 1.
How we didn't just completely wreck right there is insane. My goodness. Will they suck back up to the lead pack, though?
If they keep fighting like this, they very well might. Grant Peterson to the top shelf of Michael Kenner. Now Spencer Ray's got a choice. Who do you help out here? One car gets put down onto the apron in the background, while Peterson will clear for the race lead, pushed by Spencer Ray with 1 lap to go, coming to it in stage number 1.
I don't think it's as simple as just the 4 cars in the lead group right now, single file. I think
there we go!
Big wreck! Lots of cars taken out. My goodness. The crazy thing is, my man, it's single file. Why are you guys wrecking single file with still a lap to go until stage points are awarded?
That may very well give Nathan Shiflett the win here, but he's going to have a choice. Does he come down pit road, or does he opt to stay out to guarantee himself the race win? Or has he taken the race lead? I think Michael Kenner might have actually gotten that one, as he's just overtaken the 15 here.
We'll have to see exactly what the results are at the end of this lap. If everyone's just slamming on the brakes, right there. I think the 7 got into the 83. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the lineup is as they cross the line here. But it looks like the 98 is going to win the stage.
Unless he pits and somebody else stays out to pass him before the line. That's a real possibility we have to keep in mind here.
Yeah, but you'd be at the very edge of the pit window. There's no reason to pit right now, honestly. You're at the edge of the pit window to make it till the end of the race. You need cautions to make it to the end of the race if you pit right now, which I think there will be more cautions. But just, do you want to put yourself at that limit? Just get the stage points here. I think that's what everyone's going to be doing.
Kenner's staying out. He's going. Oh, no, he's not. Last minute call come down. Thrower will stay out. So Thrower will become the stage 1 winner on a bold strategy call. Thrower takes it for the first stage of the season.
Anyone who has their. This is the. Okay. Nolan.
Well, it didn't take long for us to see how. Oh, wow. A couple cars hitting the pit wall there in the pit road.
Nolan.
But, yeah.
Anyone who crosses the line, who has a pit box near the end of pit lane, got stage points there.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
Oh, man.
That's what I was saying. Do you want to take the risk of coming down to pit road or just stay out and be safe about getting the stage points? I mean, there's risks to both sides.
Huh.
A lot of drivers taking extended stops here to fix up damage. There was a good half of the field collected in that latest mess. Good gravy. That was a wild one, too.
Never so much excitement over who has a pit stall where. I mean, some drivers just completely lost their lost the chance to get points. I mean, a driver like you know, I'm trying to think. Okay, so I'm sorry for just stopping to talk right there. But
I think we're all speechless right now.
Robert Peterson just asked the question. Stage points were as we crossed the line. Hunter Thrower said yes. But yeah, Ryan Zingler clarifying stages are wherever you ended lap 25, starting lap 26. So I don't know if a lot of people knew that.
Man.
But you know who did know that immediately was Hunter Thrower. So here's the thing. Hunter is going to come down to the pits right now.
Here you see another look. It was just a hit between Spencer Ray. And I think that right there definitely showed to the fact that we definitely did see Michael Kenner take that race lead. Completely fair game. As here's the wild right. Look at the one being kicked up and around like that on a tremendous wreck from Mark Brannigan Jr. Going to get a look on board Brannigan's car here and hang on because this is going to get wild in a hurry.
Yeah, this is going to get wild, of course, behind that Reese's machine.
Gosh.
Wow.
Nowhere to go. Literally last second reaction to Spencer Ray.
Almost went into the catch fence. So let me tell you this real quick. Talking about these stage points. Everyone who stayed out got the points and then went in the lap after to get fuel are the only ones who made the right decision there. Yes, they're going to be starting in the back of this field, but you can see how quickly you can move up. Everyone else who went into the pits and weren't crossing the line to get stage points just messed up, man.
Give one more look on this madness and take a look at there's nowhere to go for him at all.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a shot right there. That is an angle and a half.
Trackhouse ain't going to like their sponsor being thrown around like that.
No kidding. I would hope that they wouldn't. Well, that's stage one complete. Now what's going to happen? Robert Peters has taken up the race lead because of Thrower's last-minute pit. Shifley will be in second. McGill third. Musati's back up to fourth.
I mean, Thrower got 10 points right there. That's all that matters.
Pretty much.
He'll move right back through the field, has an extra lap's worth of fuel, is better on fuel than the rest of these drivers. everyone messed up except for Hunter Thrower, in my opinion.
Well, hey, there's a rule book. The admins even mentioned it right before the race started. They mentioned it the week before, and the week before that. Read up on it. There are changes. You're going to need to know them. That's on the drivers at that point in time. Green flag's back in the air. The Joe Pesci 160 gets stuff back on the way. Robert Peterson takes the lead down to turn number 1.
Hunter Thrower's back in the pits. I think he got a penalty. So
would it be for entering the closed pits by any chance on that deal?
I think it was passing under yellow. I'm not exactly sure, but nonetheless, it was open pits, I thought. But
not if you don't pit the first time.
Okay, so maybe still the right call, but we'll have to see what happens. Thrower is being held for a long time. Anyway, the 97 in the lead of this race as we storm around the tunnel in turn 3 and 4 at Daytona.
Peterson leads the first lap to green, and already there's a huge gap in the pack, forming up all the way to about Spencer Ray. And from there, it's been in no man's land. Further down in this field, the drivers further down the order. These are guys that are now, of course, struggling with big-time damage on their machines. You can already see how much attrition has befallen this field. Hello to Walt, way up the track, and Schiffler had to lift out to avoid running over the number 22, but I think we can really start to see the different mentalities that are taking hold in this field. As you can already see how much has been whittled down from lap 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The speeds of these cars have definitely lessened because a lot of cars have damage right now. But, I mean, there's some cars that have no rear bumper. Daniel Half, Half's got half of his car still intact. You see in the bottom lane there, that number 32 machine, 5th on the inside line, has literally no rear bumper.
And no rear bumper at all to the number 32, and very close to not having a front clip either, as you can see on the Mustang coming off of turn number 2, working the back straightaway. But hey, so long as you're in the draft, he looks to be fine. You just got to watch those engine temps, right? Because these cars notorious for being able to easily overheat, especially in the pack, and especially if you've got front end damage. That's one thing to keep an eye out for. The good news is I don't think I'll have to worry so much about the air temperature contributing so much to that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I do think that every driver needs to worry about their temperatures in the car. What I'm really surprised about, not talking about temps, is that outside line with just 2 drivers being able to do exactly what the inside line is doing. They're actually going faster and pushing each other to the lead on the outside. Lost a little bit of steam right there, but it's really admirable what the 15 and the 22 are doing right now.
To Walt and Schiffler doing great work there on that outside lane, trying to make something, anything happen for them on the top shelf, considering they got no help. And one of the big things that helps is how big a run you're able to get off of turn number 2 in particular. It is monstrous, the speed that you can get off the top side because of how much more aggressive the banking transition is. You almost end up on a downhill slope, which gives you a bit of an extra speed boost coming down the backstretch. And if you're being pushed by a good pusher, well, it only amplifies from there as we work our way back around to turn number 1. Lap 32 will be halfway this time by the line.
That's actually a really good point, that it's almost like a ramp if you're coming down from the outside line on exit, but it's only a ramp if you use it as a ramp, as we see some bailing happening right there from Anthony Masati. If you're coming down from the outside to as far as you can to the inside line, it's a ramp, not a ramp if you're staying on the outside line. So it's very interesting to see little tricks of the trade that these drivers utilize to really make it around. By the way, just for personal notation, Austin Hunter, or Hunter Thrower, I don't know why I said Austin Hunter. Hunter Thrower was held for a lap. He would be the next car lapped to put him 2 laps down, so he's hoping for a caution immediately.
Hoping for a caution soon, but with us now at halfway, we'll be able to see if any other drivers will be looking to get themselves hoping for a caution soon. We'll take a run down top to bottom through your field to hear for the Joe Pesci 160. Robert Peterson leads the way. He is up 20 positions as it stands, leading this train of about 13, 14 cars strong. You can see Michael DeWall fighting it out for second with Holden McGill. Nathan Shiflett runs back in 4th. Just underneath him is Daniel Haff, one of the series rookies. Your pulls into Mario Lapinto, been beat around a bit tonight, but he is looking good still. In that number 7 spot, Zachary Kreis just underneath him, along with Matt Cherry in this grouping. And it'll be then John Crabtree and Michael Kenner to round out the top 10.
Continuing it down the order. Actually, you know what? Let's not continue it down the order because it's going to keep switching really quickly. How'd you do that?
What do you mean?
How'd you do it without anybody switching positions?
Magic. Complete magic. That's all I have to say.
Brother, I am no magician here. I am merely a color commentator. You're the magician.
Well, I can tell you right now, it is Gassione now to run to that the 12th spot, excuse me. Peterson 13th, Purcell 14th. You see Colton Wells falling back a lap. Spencer Ray, Anthony Masadi, Colton Hoffner, Corey Paya, Perrin Huggins, and Sean Kaiser round at the top 20. But there you got Kyle Greenberg, Morton Dingler, and Noyes. The last car's on the lead lap. Brandon Kluge, the first car, 1 lap down to the lucky dog spot with Leighton Wells throw it around to the field. Mark Brannigan Jr. and Josh Cole, currently the only 2 cars marked as DNFs on the night as we take a look top to bottom of your OMSRL Xfinity Series field for the Joe Pesci 160. We keep things underway, though, up at the front of the field. We are 3 laps past halfway. DeWall still making a run for the lead. The outside lane, though, started to form up with some good momentum again.
You're a funny guy, aren't you, pal?
Am I now?
Like funny like a clown? You amuse me. Sorry, it's a Joe Pesci thing.
Look, I had to Google the guy before this race. I had no idea.
Don't admit that. Don't admit that. Don't admit that.
I'm going to admit what I want. It's my channel.
Fair enough. It is your channel. This is your broadcast. This is your world. I'm just living in it. All right. So, Hunter Thrower is the car up top. Wouldn't have been surprised if he tried to do what AJ Allmendinger did in the Daytona 500 this year, where he was getting put another lap down. He tried to fight for the lucky dog and just slotted himself dangerously into the pack. Ended up working out for him, though. But Hunter Thrower is not going to do anything of the sorts. He goes 2 laps down to get 10 stage points, though. I guess that's what matters. Nonetheless, almost everybody in this field, the top 24, are on the lead lap. Only 2 cars not currently on track. 9 laps and 22 laps down. That's Mark Brannigan Jr. and Josh Cole. It's getting a little bit more racy up front with we're well past the halfway point. I still don't think these cars can make it to the end on green.
Saw right there Holden McGill get way out of shape down on the apron and had to kind of pedal it a little bit as Colby Wells makes his way down to pit road. I know we're going to have to make at least one more stop yet before the conclusion of this race. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It just is a question of when it's going to come about as Mario Lapinto gets pushed up wide. He's now caught in the sucker hole. Thrower going to go up, though, to try to help him out here. This is going to get wild. Coming off of turn number 4. We're going to rebound off each other. Michael Kenner spinning down to the inside, and we're going to be crashing it off of turn number 4. No caution, though. We're keeping it green. Ah, there it is.
Yikes. That's all I got to say.
Only takes one.
Only takes one. And I hate to say it, but that's the second accident that Kreiser has caused completely on him.
Man.
And takes out a lot of cars again.
You can see just rebounded up and down into a few drivers. Rucci spun in the pit road. He'll likely have to get that kind of sorted out for himself. We'll try to get a look from the air on this one and see if we can't figure out what happened a little bit better in this deal. It was, again, a whole load of wilding, though, that happened coming off of turn number 4 here down to the front straightaway. As zero in on Lapinto here, we'll be able to kind of get a look from the 13th car here. You can see everybody down at the bottom. Right there, it gets put 3 wide. You already seen it starting to slow up, and I think Kreis just kind of got spooked and just wasn't sure what to do in that whole deal.
Yeah, they're talking about it on the radio right now, and fingers being pointed at the 1919, kind of deflecting everything off of him. Hate to call out someone like that, but it is the second big one that was caused by just kind of being spooked out there and getting loose in the tri-oval.
It's easy to do, though. I'm guilty of it myself. I'm pretty sure just about everybody on the service is guilty of it at some point or another. Even the pro drivers, right? You know, at one point, they themselves are rookies. Everybody makes the mistakes like that. And I kind of want to take another look at that. I wasn't sure if maybe Mario came down trying to get it off the wall. But, yeah, just kind of swerved around a little bit, got a bit spooked. And, well, I'll be one, obviously, for the post-race review is obviously everything in OMSRL is done post-race under an incident review committee. So we'll be able to see how all that's going to go down. Here comes the pit stops. Is this enough to make it to the end?
Absolutely. They are good to the end right here. Anyone who stays out is making an interesting choice. So, yeah, everyone from the lead lap is going down pit road, it seems, yes. So drivers who are a lap down could go for the wave around if they so choose, if they don't want to come into the pits. They'd still have to pit by the end of this race, but at least they'd be on the lead lap and hope for another set of circumstances. The 15 of Nathan Shiflett is the first car out, back on the track. He's going to be P1.
So Shiflett will take up the race lead, and as the last of these drivers will stagger their way through pit road, we're going to take a quick step back here on Green Flag TV. We're back with more for the Joe Pesci 160 at Daytona International Speedway in just a few moments. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We are still pacing under what is, I believe, now going to be caution flag number 4 of the afternoon. We talked about it earlier on that last pit stop run. Nathan Shiflett, your race leader, DeWalt in second. McGill, Cherry, LaPinta, and Huggins will wrap out the top 3 rows, and everybody getting set to stack them up, double them up. We're going to go green again with just over 20 laps to go.
Do you have radio communications turned on?
I do not, and I have a feeling that's a good thing right about now.
I find it interesting. There's a lot of conversations happening between race control and certain drivers right now, just about, you know, maybe the sim automatically put them on a black flag or didn't wave them around or anything like that. It's just fascinating. I wish we had like a radioactive by the end of this race. Could you imagine an OMSRL radioactive?
I can imagine it. I can also imagine how much time, though, it takes to edit with how much there is to say about these races on the radios after the fact. Oh, boy, that would take forever, but a good thought.
Full of those.
We'll work our way into the tri-oval once again, and it'll be Nathan Shiflett to take us to the green flag once again. 23 laps to go. Saw Stephen Purcell try to make a move middle of the field here as we work our way down to turns 1 and 2. Thought about going up the middle, decided against it. He'll tuck that back down to the bottom as we hightail our way back through the high banks of 1 and 2. Shiflett with the lead still, but DeWalt will get a big push here from Cherry off of 2.
Yeah, big push right there. There's a big gap of the cars on the inside line. There's not many in the outside line. That inside gap has started to become filled. The 32 of Daniel Half goes down to the inside. Man, we're coming down to 22 to go once they cross the line.
22 laps to go. It is really much crunch time as it stands here for the OMSRL Xfinity Series in their season opener. We work our way off of the tri-oval. Trouble, cars into the wall. Thrower again in the background, slamming off the outside wall, and he'll slow himself down. No caution. We'll keep it green.
At least he got the 10 stage points. All I'm going to say for his race now.
Good grief, right? I mean, I don't even think it was worth it at this point now, though.
I would also tend to agree with you there.
Not if you're going to lose 30 in the process.
Fair.
Gonna look back here on what happened to Hunter Thrower coming into the tri-oval this time by. Oh, got hit by Gassion, I think, from behind, and that sent him into the wall. Good job on keeping it out of the rest of the field. Very easily could have rebounded down into everybody else, but he was dedicated to keeping that car pinned against the outside wall instead.
Yeah, really good job right there. Just unfortunate for his race, but he keeps others out of it.
Oh, my gosh.
The 15. Oh, just gets slammed by the 9. No one's completely turned around yet.
Oh, well, they are now.
No caution? Okay,
there it
caution's
is.
out. Barney, what are you on, buddy?
That might have been a race control thrown one at that, not an iRacing thrown, with how delayed that was. And that's yellow flag number 5 now, I do believe. Oh, make that. It is 5. I can't count. So caution flag 5 on the afternoon. And it's only going to continue to get more and more out there as this race goes along. We'll get a look on what happened in this latest deal coming off the turn. Man, that's a bit of a weird incident, if I'm being a bit frank. Yes.
Pinball's fun.
Oh, Gassion again, just nailing the side of Shiflett, and then he himself taking a spin. There's a lot that happened here. This whole deal. We're gonna try to back it up a bit more. We're gonna have to. I hate going to the aerial cameras so much, but whenever you get a big wreck like this, you really just have to try to piece together what on earth just happened up here at the front of this field. And well, this isn't going to do us much good from way back here now, is it? We'll get a better angle of that one. This is, here we go. So it was with Shiflett and Cherry. I know that for a fact. All right there. Just kind of, yeah, crossing up into each other's lanes, and then they pile up together in the background, just trying to avoid this, and that's a hefty whack that Gassion took to the side of Shiflett's car.
And then this is a little bit farther back.
Man.
23 checked up. Oh! Good grief.
Just another case of, he doesn't know what's going on up the road. Field checks up. He couldn't check up enough with them. That sends another host of drivers now with damage down pit road.
Just good grief, buddy.
It's only going to get more intense the further we get into this race.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
We're not done yet. Not by a long shot.
We're not leaving.
So we can maybe talk to some of the drivers here that have kind of been in the middle of everything that's been going on throughout the course of this race here. It's been interesting, to say the very least, for a lot of the guys out here. And I think what we could try to do is, if he's available, we could try to get trying to look around and see who's really actually available right now, as it's been so intense for a good chunk of these racers here. Let's see if we can't get a brief word in potentially with one of the series rookies here, Perrin Huggins. He's the driver that's up 5 spots as it stands, running in the number 2 spot. Perrin, this is Nolan Van Pull up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, buddy.
Well, you're restarting second place here on this one. You've managed to so far survive much of the attrition in this race, but it's going to get wild, I think, in these next 20 laps. How do you think you're going to have, what do you think you're going to have to do to survive it?
Get lucky. I have no idea how the heck I'm in second, and I have 50 seconds worth of damage right now. So we'll see what goes down, I guess.
And of course, it'll be a fun ride for you. You're making your OMSRL Xfinity Series debut here in this one. In case you don't get to talk to you later on down the line, what are the goals for the season here?
Go very deep in the playoffs.
Well, fair enough. That's always a good goal to aim for. Thanks for taking the time to join us up here. Wish you the best of luck here with 18 to go.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Perrin Huggins joining us up from the number 2 spot. Going to be starting us up with the leader on the front row in that deal. And, well, he's got the HendrickCars.com number 5. Scored as the 18, though. He's one of the few drivers that's got a number discrepancy going on as it stands. And, of course, that's just what, it tends to happen when you get a lot of new drivers into the league. A lot of these guys, keep in mind, he only joined 1 week ago, or less than that. I know there's a couple in here that only joined today. So there's a lot of new faces here in this series. And, honestly, it was looking a little bit concerning. I mean, even like a week and a half ago, Dylan, there was only about 14, 15 that had fully registered for this upcoming season. And it was looking like it was going to be a bit of a dismal car count, but now we're here with double that in the opener.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It's made it so these incidents are not exactly taking everybody out of the fray, everybody out of contention. We still have some good racing and still have some clean drivers who don't have much damage, even though that's dwindling, still in the fight for the win. And that's always nice to see. It sucks when you've got a 10, 15 car field and then they wreck out immediately and then you got like 7 cars competing for the remainder.
Makes it just exciting as a whole. I think we had 33 cars on the opener last season for the first season of 2023. So that's not bad numbers at all. And it's been an amazing run. And I can only hope that most of these guys will stick around for the season going forward, because it is going to be something else entirely. Michael DeWalt going to be leading us back to the green flag. He had his rookie season just 1 season ago. Now seeing if he can't cement his place as a veteran. The OMSRL Xfinity Series season. Pace car going to pull down, and this time and we'll be going back to green. Josh Cole, by the way, has worked his way back up onto the racetrack from that last during the last yellow flag. He's 26 laps down, but still has the potential to get, I'd say, about 3 spots up to Spencer Ray, and I think he might stall there with how many laps are left.
Yeah, the real thing is who has the horsepower to stay with this pack. You see all the drivers just falling back. The 84 falling way back. So this is a very miscombobulated kind of field right now. They're all very much strung out. Who's going to suck up to the lead few cars? We'll have to find out.
Currently leading the way by about a pack of 12 down at the turn numbers 3 and 4. Huggins working to the outside line. McGill and DeWalt down on the bottom. Daniel Half still with no back bumper. Trying to use the lack of rear end downforce to only push himself further up throughout this field. He's making moves, though, in that number 3 spot as we hightail it back down the front straightaway. And there we see again Huggins looking for the high side. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And how about Mario Lapinta? Thought he might be out of the fight when he got collected in the very first big one of the night. Not even 10 laps in, and he is back up and fighting in the top 5.
Really, really impressive right now. We'll see if he's able to maintain it. Some of these cars starting to shuffle down. I think some of them are anxious. They see the damage that these cars have gotten, and they're starting to wiggle and say, I don't want to have any part of what you're offering right now.
Oh, Mario Lapinta tried to make the high side work. Didn't go his way. Rucci trying to force a hole up the middle. 1 car to the inside. Corey Paya slides down. He's able to get it back sorted, crossing back through traffic, and gets it wrestled back to the race course.
Can you imagine being in his shoes or the shoes of the cars on track right at that point? Doesn't even get a penalty either. I thought he was going to get a penalty for going into pit lane. What a great move. We're watching the replay. Just a little tap, keeps it out of the wall. All of these bumps, all the bumps are very underrated right there. Throws it right back on the track, keeps it going. That was incredible. By the way, we're 3 wide for 5th.
Jumping down to the bottom will be Huggins as he manages to abandon the high side. You can see the 3 of Jacob Noyes running very, very different colors in his inconsistency racing machine. No longer with 2 girls in the leaf on the number 3 Chevrolet. Dingler jumps up to the top shelf, also running a bit of a different scheme. Very much more green, white, and black as opposed to the blue colors that he was running with Badger Racing just 1 season ago. Continue to work our way back through the high banks, though, and it's only going to continue to escalate from here as more and more cars filter to the back. I think we're going to have, in total, about a pack of 17 still up to pace.
Yeah, and that will lead to some good racing here, as it looks like Daniel Half had to shuffle below the double yellow line, gets back up. Oh, these drivers not feeling comfortable running single file right now.
I thought he was trying to make a pass at first down to the inside like that.
Exactly.
Oh, there we go. Huge cluster of drivers. Half will shoot to pit road. We're still crashing it up into turn.
We're still
up into the tri-oval. Caution comes out. LaPinta involved again. The 18, the 00. Kaiser will put the 43 into the outside wall, and another major pileup on the front straightaway. Turn 4, Calamity Corner today, or I suppose it was turn 2 last season.
Yeah, that was pretty bad from to not keep it going, and the yellow not coming out was insane.
Holden McGill takes up the race lead. We will get a chance to, once again, get a look on everything that just went down, and it got, again, to put it mildly, the fact that it got crazy is a massive, massive understatement. We'll jump back here. This is going to be through turn numbers 3 and 4, a bit further back than I was intending, but it'll get the job done. You see Half down on the bottom, and where does this all take place? I think it happens with DeWalt and Rucci here coming off of turn 4.
DeWalt just moves up.
Yeah, right there. Big time, the outside wall, and then from there it's just one car after another all sliding down into the infield. You see Half tags the inside wall. Peterson had to shoot for the inside. Rucci scrapes the inside wall, and it just avoids getting collected a bit further up the road as well, as we'll get a better look here. And, well, Commentator's Curse striking again. We were just talking to Parrot Huggins about how he was looking to have a good day today. And, well, we see how well that turned out for him. He was caught right in the thick of it.
Into the thick of it. Remember that? Remember that trend?
You have just awoken memories that I didn't know existed with that line. And the first, the only place I remember that jingles was from the Backyardigans.
Right. Where your
Am I correct
backyard
in that
friends, the Backyardigans.
Oh my gosh.
For the place where we belong. We'll probably sing a song, and we'll maybe, I don't know, dance along.
Yeah, you'll have to pay me more if you want me to do that.
Well, there are cars coming down pit lane live pictures. I know we're still on replay right now. One last look. Bam! 88 almost went for the high jump award there. Of course, not going to win it. That was, I believe, the one won that, or the one won that, like, high jump earlier. So, interesting choice. I think some cars, I'm curious the decision from some of these cars to stay out and go in. So pretty much the majority of the cars up front stayed out. So Stefan Purcell in 5th brought everyone else down. The top 4 did not go in. Grant Peterson did not go in. and neither did Robert Peterson. So only 6 cars from the lead lap stayed out. The top 4, and I don't know if it'll be a bad or a good decision from the top 4, but I'll tell you who this probably helps the most right now. Both Grant Peterson and Robert Peterson. Different spellings of the last name, not related.
One of them's got a Peterson with a T, the other a Peterson with a D. it's something. It really is something. I remember there was one announcer a while ago that kept on trying to call it Pedersen.
Nah.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same way. Not quite. The effort was there, though. 10 laps to go this time by McGill with the lead. I still don't think we're done wrecking. I think we're going to go to overtime with this one. We have the last 2 seasons in OMSRL at Daytona. Why would this season be any different, right?
Very true. We forgot to mention that all the drivers in this field have had 1 fast repair, which definitely has been utilized by some drivers in this race.
I don't think we do, because I remember Mario LaPinta came down earlier, and I didn't see anybody that we might have considered to get a fast repair.
We do.
Do it earlier. Do we? Have
we
you found that out?
Yes, sir. We have the fast repair limit of 1.
There we go.
So it was in the rule book, but good to confirm with the in-race session.
Well,
we do have 1 fast repair.
A lot of races as well, as we were mentioned before, they didn't take them early on. Well, considering the attrition we've had, I guess
they want to
take
it later.
Take it earlier on. Yeah, right? No kidding. It's a good call, and a lot of them has got right now 14 lined up in this leading pack, and we got others still trying to catch the tail on the field. Hunter Thrower got the lucky dog this last time by. That puts Thrower now back onto the lead lap.
No way.
It sure does. It's up to 19th.
Hey, could you imagine? Could you imagine?
If only, right? It's not over, though. Remember what happened with
anyone can
Ray
win
at Talladega, right?
Mm-hmm. Literally 360 spin on the backstretch. Everyone wrecks. But
Has
they
to
weren't
dodge
stuck
the wreck that he helped create.
Yeah, Spencer Ray was not stuck in there with them. They were all stuck in there with him. It's a line from Watchmen.
Yeah. I never saw Watchmen.
I just saw it for the first time the other day.
I didn't see either version, not the HBO one or the other. I know there was a comic book. I was surprised that I found it was a DC comic. It looked like I don't know. I was misled.
It is and it isn't a DC comic. Like, it's completely separated from the universe until I think a few years ago.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, like it completely separate. I think published by DC in the 80s, but.
Well, there you go.
Comic book talk. Daytona.
With someone that watches the movies as opposed to the comics. We're into the Geico Restart Zone. I've just upset the entire MCU and DCU fan base. We're back to green with 9 to go.
Who's going to be Captain Daytona?
Well, my bet would be on McGill, but that's only because I've seen him win a Daytona race before, and it wasn't here, mind you. It was in another league elsewhere. At this point, though, it's anybody's game.
A lot of drivers in the back on the lead lap do not have full firepower in the horsepower department. So really, it's a battle between, I think, the top 15 at this point, maybe the top 16 drivers who could potentially win this race. They're all single file minus 1 or 2 drivers who pull out of line to the outside. The 5 machine, 18 on the scoreboard, actually, but 5 in scheme. The Kyle Larson scheme of Perrin Huggins is on the outside, gets a push from DeWalt, who gets a push into the 15. They're almost wrecking it in the tri-oval. Don't push there. Look at the 9. What happened to him?
Believe engine lost fire on the number 9, possibly ended up expiring the motor. He'll limp his way to pit row. We won't have a caution because of how far down he is on the racetrack. At the back, it's not a wreck that involves anybody else other than potentially him, if anybody else at all. To the back straightaway. Single file until about number 6 in line. Then we see Purcell and Shiflett running side by side. Kaiser jumps to the top shelf.
This race is winding down. I definitely agree with what you were saying, Nolan. This is not going to be the end of every wreck that we see. I think these drivers are a little too uncomfortable with their race cars right now. The 24 looks to go way outside, comes way down to the inside, and decides to slot back in line. No one wants to push right now. Everyone wants to make it go for themselves. There's a lot of damaged race cars. Who's going to survive?
That's the big question. I think that is on everybody's mind right now. Who's going to survive this one to take victory? And right now, it's not going to be Michael Kenner. His title defense has gotten off to a horrid start, running way down in 22nd spot. 3 laps down. You see still Sean Kaiser trying to make a move. So Michael Kenner with a lot of work to do if he wants to go on the defensive for his championship title after taking it to the Homestead Miami Speedway just 1 week ago. Not 1 week ago, a few months, 1 race ago, we'll see. It's been a few months since then. Robert Peterson works to the outside. Sean Kaiser still trying to find a way by him. He does not want to work with the 97 here.
I mean, nobody wants to work with anybody right now, and I think that's part of the issue. These drivers are just trying to get everything for themselves instead of trying to stay patient, working with the driver, getting some good favor, goodwill, maybe repay it in the last lap of the race. Look at the 24, really trying to find a lane. 15 thinking about going underneath him. The 5 goes to the outside. Look at that move from Huggins. 3 wide, the 15 in the sucker hole.
Schiffer gets caught up in the middle. Here comes Parent Huggins on the top. Michael Duvall going with him. This didn't work the last 3 or 4 times he's tried it. We'll try it again on the turn 4. This time they managed to make it work, albeit no spots gained for anybody. Duvall going to the middle. Huggins now trying the middle line. Trying to get between Cherry, and there we go. Wrecking again. Big crash. That collects the rest of the field. Coming on down to turn number 1. And I have to say, that was just close.
48, we'll see in the replay. I heard some people blaming Huggins right there, the 5 for forcing a 3 wide, but come on, it's near the end of the race. You're going for everything you can do right there. It's up to everybody else to try and keep it stable, just like yourself. Seeing the replay, I'm curious to get a look at what your thoughts are, but to me, you watch the 48 come up.
It's a tough call right there. It's not really the best of angles, though, is it, to be able to kind of get a good look on everything that just went down there. We'll consult the aerial
helicopter
camera, I guess, again. Why not? We'll go with the blimp one more time. We may as well. We brought it out this much. So coming on down. Oh, this is going to be perfect action right here, right underneath the blimp.
48. Had enough room to keep. Had enough room to keep it on the bottom. 48 has to keep it on the bottom there.
It's a tough call. It's a case of, a lot of drivers trying to go for the pinch and not quite working out in everybody's favor, I think, in that deal.
Well, I'll be honest. I just still think it's the 48. I don't think the 5 helped the situation, but the 48's gotta stop weaving, weaving and bobbling down there on the apron. I mean, he kind of clipped the apron and shot back up.
Well, we'll get one more look here on this one. This time we'll bring it to the actual helicopter camera right behind, and this will
watch the 48 go.
I don't know. I think there may have been a bit of netco between them as well, because when he did turn right, it was very abrupt. Like, it wasn't immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to me, it's still the 48 came up half a lane too much, and no one's going to give an inch here, as drivers do go down pit lane right now to now here's the interesting thing. What are they going to make call-wise? Because some could top up with fuel, and I think some of them will do exactly that. Will any of them go for tires? Probably not. This looks like purely a damage repair, and some are getting propped up on the jacks with some fuel repair. So lots of different strategies. Some drivers have different advantages. I don't know if tires really will be at all a deciding factor here, but it's really interesting.
And right now, everybody that is in the lane here is all for damage repairs. Every single one. Because that did collect pretty much everybody else that was that we had left that was up to pace. Save everybody that was in front of it, like Robert Peterson, Holden McGill, and Ryan Dingler. This will, by the way, put us to our first green-white checkered overtime attempt. I believe we still get 3 attempts total, as that was the rule for last season, and to my knowledge, that has not changed at all. So that'll make this interesting. I believe last season we took 2 tries to get us to the checkered flag. You reckon we use all 3, or we can keep it at 1? I don't think we have enough cars up that are fully up to speed for there to be more than 1.
Yeah, but never underestimate the the guts that some of these drivers have.
Somebody will throw a block somewhere trying to keep from losing another spot.
Most likely, yes. Very good.
We'll work our way off at turn number 4. Would be 2 to go. This time by at the line.
So technically overtime.
And Thrower, well, he's up to 11th now.
No way.
He was involved in the last wreck, but he was one of the few where it kind of had a light ding. It wasn't really a hard hit. He'll be up to speed with everybody else here.
No, but he does not have the horsepower.
You don't think?
No, because he fell all the way back on the restart last time out. He is very low on horsepower. He'll drop back like a rock.
Thrower may very well be out of the fight, but there's a lot of drivers that still are within a fight, 2 of which potentially here are Perrin Huggins and Brandon Kluge, 2 of the rookies entering this season here. Drivers that have never made a start. We spoke to Huggins earlier today. He was immediately involved in the very next caution that came out, but he's back up in the fight, but potentially not up with the horsepower. I think really we got maybe the top 6 that are up to speed, and that might be about it.
Hey, as long as you can stay, if your engine's not damaged, you have a chance.
So we'll work down the back straightaway. Robert Peterson going to lead the outside. Holden McGill leads the inside. Dingler and Noyes side by side for row number 2. It's a Walt with no front clip and a bent up back bumper as well. Runs 5th. Brandon Kluge, a rookie, will line it up 3rd from the top. 2 laps, 5 miles the distance left to go here at the Daytona International Speedway at the Joe Pesci 160. It's Holden McGill and Robert Peterson will look set to take us to the green for what could very well be the final restart of the night. Pace car is down and in the pit road. We enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. It is green-white checkered attempt number 1.
Big run on the outside by, I think that's Robert Peterson, who swings down to the inside. Does not look like any sort of restart violation. Car starting to single file out behind the front 4 runners. Just not all of them have the horsepower. They're kind of miscombobulated in the back. This is going to be a straight dogfight between everybody up front right now. I lied. Hunter Thrower has the speed.
Thrower's closing in, but with how far back he is, he needs the caution to get him into contention. Otherwise, it is too little, too late. Holden McGill going to be pushing Robert Peterson down through turn numbers 3 and 4. We get set to take the white flag at Daytona.
6 cars on the inside line, 2 more coming. There's only 1 on the outside line. Do we get back to the white flag? Yes, we do. This race is official. 1 lap to go.
1 more lap to decide it all in the Joe Pesci 160 in the season opener of the OMSRL Xfinity Series in their 5th season of competition. McGill and Peterson breaking away as Jacob Noyes goes side by side with Ryan Dingler up on the top.
Hofter with a big move to the outside, trying to push the 3. Goes middle.
We work our way down the back straightaway. Hoffner tucks back in line. Noise with a charge up on the top. Does he have enough to take him? Miguel trying to make something happen down on the bottom. Noise trying to pull from the top side. Here comes Robert Peterson down on the bottom. 3 wide, right in behind. A drag race to the line. Noise closing.
Big push.
Not enough. It'll be Robert Peterson to take the win as they crash across start finish.
14 thousandths of a second. Peterson got Noise.
What a run for Robert Peterson. Takes the checkered flag in commanding fashion. As we'll take a look at the replay of what was a wild final lap. Look at the run coming off of turn number 4. Noise was closing in, but it was not closing enough as Robert Peterson, by about a bumper's length, will win out at Daytona.
4 cars within 1/100th of each other crossing the line.
Doesn't get much better than that for Daytona International Speedway.
I lied, 1/10.
While Robert Peterson will work his way around to the start-finish stretch, and he will burn it down at the world's center of racing.
Gotta hand it to Peterson, one of the only clean cars all day.
Worked his way up from 21st on the grid to take a commanding victory here at the Daytona International Speedway. We'll take a rundown of your official post-race results after that one, where it was the likes of Robert Peterson to take a race win over Jacob Noyes by a mere 14 1/1000ths of a second. Second place will go to Jacob Noyes. Holden McGill will pick up a solid 3rd position in his first run back in OMSRL. Colton Hoffner will be in 4th with Ryan Dingler in 5th. Stephen Purcell was in 6th with Zach Kreiser in 7th. Brandon Kluge will be in the number 8 spot with Hunter Thrower in 9th. Corey Paya Dillon will round out the top 10.
Sean Kaiser with Daniel Half. Right next to them is Perrin Huggins, who made his way back up. A privateer non-team related driver. Mike DeWalt, Anthony Masadi, Grant Peterson were part of that lead group. We continue going down with Matt Cherry, Nathan Shiflett, and Kyle Green, the top 19 all on the lead lap, with Jason Layton a lap down, Nolan.
Michael Kenner will finish 3 down, and then we enter the used car lot, headed up by Baron Morton. We'll finish down with John Crabtree, Mario Lapinta, your pulse hitter of the day, Matt Rucci, Austin Gassion, Spencer Ray, Colby Wells, Josh Cole, and Mark Brannigan Jr. That's going to be your race results here from the Daytona International Speedway, and what a wild, wild trip it was here for everybody involved here in this one. We will see if we can't get a hold of some of the drivers at the end of this race, and we'll be looking to potentially kick it off first with your race winner on the afternoon. It will be the likes of Robert Peterson. Eventually, if we're able to find him, here we are. Robert Peterson will join us up in the broadcast booth. And Robert, it was the most spots gained on the day, tied with Corey Paya, but you find yourself up in victory lane. Got to feel good to kick off the season on a high like this.
I'm sorry, man. I had some minor radio issues there. Could you repeat that?
No, not a problem at all. I was just mentioning it's a good way to kick off the season. It's a good way to kick off the season for you. You take a race win, 20 spots gained, one of the most, of course, all afternoon long, and you managed to get yourself with the very stylish MS Paint Ford Mustang up in a victory lane at Daytona.
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a lot of fun tonight. I had a lot of help from my teammates there at Badger Racing, and of course the paint scheme, obviously, big help there. Made this thing a long time ago, and the first time I brought it out didn't go so well, so nice to have that turnaround.
So obviously, with all of this said and done, it's a race win for yourself for the race route of Atlanta, Georgia, and overall, how would you sum up this race? Because you were right in the thick of it for pretty much every single lap from start to finish.
Oh, it was pretty crazy. I kind of started out. I started out trying to get to the front, just try and get ahead of the wrecks, and I got involved in the first 2. So a lot of the race was just about trying to protect the car, make sure I got home, and eventually the strategy just kind of worked out that I ended up near the front without having to be in the middle of the pack too much, and just able to stay there the rest of the night.
Obviously, you're able to make that first step in knocking Michael Kenner off of the OMSRL throne. Do you reckon over the rest of the season you'll be able to be a threat to the number 98 here?
Oh, we'll see. I'm kind of okay at the plate racing, but once it gets into some of the other tracks, I definitely have some weak points along the schedule. So we'll see. I have to work on it.
Well, we will wish you the best of luck then moving forward into the Michigan International Speedway 1 week from now. For now, thanks for joining us up here in Victory Lane. And once again, congratulations on the race win.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That was Robert Peterson joining us here from Victory Lane here tonight. We will move on down to the second place driver here tonight. It is Jacob Noyes to bring it home. Second step on the podium for your OMSRL founder. Dylan, you're standing by with the runner-up.
Jacob Noyes, I know you were this close to getting the win, the opening race of the season, but it's still got to feel good being that close to the win. Take us through that last lap. You got a good push at the end.
Oh man, I was looking at 3 Badger Racing guys in front of me and like, okay, I do not have a chance. And thankfully, a couple of guys that were in chat with me were like, we're coming. We just use fast repairs. Just get to the outside line, and help came and shoved me up there. If it was Tega, I would have had him.
Well, guess what? You got the push and you almost got by, but hey, it's you avoided a lot of the carnage and the chaos at the end there. You'll have to remind me, were you involved in anything, any wrecks throughout that entire race?
The wreck on lap at the end of 24, beginning of 25, I clipped the grass and got into Grant. Had some heavy front end damage, came down to repair it, tried to do a conventional repair, ended up with still 2 minutes, got about a half lap down, and then came and used that fast repair and got back into it.
I feel like that fast repair was definitely useful for a lot of drivers in this race. Talk about just surviving, because it felt like there was a lot of aggression, and it didn't seem like everyone could necessarily hold their line that well. Was this car and track combo with the night sky maybe a little bit difficult to kind of, get a grip of?
There was definitely a lot of side buffeting on a lot of the cars in draft, especially like the second car in line. If you had a train behind you, it was very difficult to hold in a straight line. So I think that led to a lot of it. And I think just everybody kind of feeling everybody out for the first time of the season. We got a lot more rookies than we were expecting a week ago. So just a lot of feeling out.
Well, going forward, the rest of the season, start off well. You almost got that win from Maximum Points. You feel like you can really challenge for that championship this year?
I'm a realistic person, no. But if I can keep up some finishes like this, I might actually have a chance at making the crank off. So fingers crossed for that.
Fingers crossed indeed. Thank you very much, Jacob. Congrats on the runner-up finish.
Thank you.
All right, Nolan, going to throw it right back to you.
That was Jacob Noyes joining us here, second place on the podium. We'll move on down. If we can't find Mr. Holden McGill, we will not be able, it looks like, to track down our third place finisher here tonight. So that's going to wrap it on up here from the Daytona International Speedway. But what a night of racing it was. And next week it's going to be just as thrilling as well. It is not going to be the Auto Club Speedway making a return for race number 2. Auto Club's been pushed to the finale. I mentioned that earlier on. It is Michigan International Speedway, so a higher banked and a faster 2-mile oval to go to, and one that could throw up just as much of a challenge as tonight did.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to it. I think that, like, for the rest of this season, it's just going to be a ton of fun to see how these drivers react to the different challenges here. I just hope that we get 30 cars every single week. That was awesome.
It's a pipe dream, sadly. There will always be those that'll come and go, but we'll be able to keep a majority of them on, and you'll be able to tune in to all the action coming on up next week at the Michigan International Speedway on OMSRL Xfinity Series. As well as that, don't forget the TNGG IL Truck Series. This Saturday, we swing to the greatest Coliseum at Bristol, Tennessee. For now, though, from OMSRL, it's time to say farewell. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you all same time, same place in Michigan.